Historically, when we were faced with a problem of connectivity, we really had to rely on what the carriers told us to articulate what that problem was. Sometimes they didn't actually know what the problem was. So we're left sort of in middle earth, not knowing whether they're telling us the truth or whether they're just giving us lip service. The other thing is that most carrier coverage maps are based on propagation studies. They're based on software. And so we've been able to gather real measured data as opposed to expected data. It's empirical. Now we have real-time data. We can look at the coverage. We know instantly whether there's a coverage problem in a particular area. Locality is a information gathering tool. On the surface, locality looks like a carrier coverage analysis tool. From our point of view, it's a much larger tool than that. We use it for software updates. We use it for troubleshooting firmware. For example, if we see that one particular set of workstations has a connectivity problem while another one doesn't, locality provides a sort of gathering point where we can look at that information and troubleshoot problems very quickly. So it's not only a very good sort of auditing tool for the commercial carriers, it's a very good auditing tool for our own information, our own software and hardware. We'd been a mobility customer for several years. When we were told the locality product was coming out, we were very early adopters. We saw it fitting into our portfolio of technology very early. We saw it fit into our solution space, and we knew we were going to be customers right away. Five years ago with the Oregon State Police, we had no mobility program. We did things the old-fashioned way, radio and notepad. If you wanted to articulate the characteristics of a person or a vehicle or some property, we did that over the radio. Having connectivity in the vehicle means we can get, again, real-time data, photographs, descriptions, updated continuously, current criminal records, criminal history files. Having access to all that information is absolutely crucial, and it is life and death for the patrol folks.
We went from the Stone Age to the Space Age. The quicker we get the information, the better off we are, and the safer the public is.
The data we get from locality is more than just coverage data. We get an instant view of our inventory. We know what firmware is installed, what software is installed. Locality doesn't just give us coverage information on cellular towers or throughput or bandwidth. It gives us very good auditing information of our own inventory, and that's huge.
Locality consolidates numerous different points of information into one location, so we can reference across the board. We can reference between 6, 7, 8 different types of information, which allow us to process and pinpoint the problem far quicker. What's nice about being able to compare different networks is that locality can give us a broad range of different aspects of those networks, anything from the number of dropped connections from one network to the next, the signal strengths, and the dispersion of those networks.
Introducing locality into the entire system has reduced the time that my technicians spend troubleshooting with a trooper that has a connectivity issue. They can quickly go in and see, number one, if they're connected to the broadband circuit and how they are connected through NetMotion. And locality has reduced our man hours in that area as well.
If you have a large fleet like we do, we have 450 mobile terminals out there. Being able to quickly troubleshoot connectivity problems is a real cost savings. Our locality data and much of our other data we've made available to other agencies.
I oversee Oregon's Geospatial Enterprise Office and the operations of Oregon's Broadband Data Collection and Mapping Program. As part of the oversight that I provide over the Broadband Data Collection and Mapping Program, we've deployed a broadband map of Oregon. It's an interactive map whereby we're able to show the public, policymakers, decision makers, where the coverage exists across Oregon, both served, underserved, and unserved areas across Oregon's 98,000 square miles. And so that has applicability for economic development, for health and human services, for education, and certainly for public safety. NetMotion and locality is an interesting product, and certainly the information that comes from that product is of prime relevance for us in that we oversee the broadband data collection and mapping program for Oregon.
The current and very recent leadership made a commitment to technology, and so having that technology, they committed to it. They've given us their full support. They've done everything they can to help us deploy modern tools and methods to be able to, again, deploy resources based on empirical data rather than anecdotal data. So we've got a really good team, we've got the support of the agency, and this agency is the premier law enforcement agency in the state.